Welcome to Get to Know, the podcast that brings you creative careers unfiltered. I'm Morgan Williams, producer, art director, and your host. And I started this podcast because I was meeting brilliant people in the industry but had no idea what their job titles really meant. Each episode, I sit down with photographers, designers, creative directors, content creators, and more to unpack what their jobs really involve, the glam bits, the graft, and the everything in between. This is season 2 with brand new guests, panel episodes, and more honest conversations. I'm so pleased to be able to say that this season is sponsored by Capture One, the industry standard software for photographers. And if you're new here, season 1 is waiting for you. Today's episode is a special one. It's our first ever panel episode. I'm joined by 2 brilliant creatives, both videographers and founders, to explore the similarities and differences behind the same job title. First up is Amber Wright, founder of Mira Creative Studios, who turned a love for film, art and storytelling into a fast-growing company working with brands like Joe Loves and Gets. And alongside her is Ben Etchells, who co-founded Alpus Media at just 17 and has since worked with global names like Molly May, Dove and Gymshark. Plus, he's on a quest to bring more creatives together through his new venture, Circle. We're getting into how they built their careers from scratch, what directing actually looks like day to day, and learning through trial and error. Let's get to know Amber and Ben. Before we dive in, a quick favour. If you're enjoying the pod, please hit subscribe. It's completely free, helps more people like you discover the show, and means I can keep bringing you honest, inspiring chats with some of the most exciting creatives out there. Thanks so much. Now, let's get into it. So, thanks for joining me, guys, on the first ever panel episode. This is really exciting. So, both of you are videographers and founders. So, maybe if I can hear from each of you exactly what that means to you, because I know it's very kind of like is slightly different for each person.
So, Alpus has been going for nearly 8 years now. There's 2 of us, so it's Harry, my business partner, and I that are Alpus, as well as a whole host of freelancers. So I think freelancing and being a videographer and a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. Every day is very different.
Yeah.
And I head up more of the business operations side, whereas Harry's the creative. So in terms of like what people see versus what I actually do, I think I probably spend most of the time sat at a desk, and I think people think it's all very glamorous. You've got on these amazing shoots abroad, but that makes up about 10% of the time. So yeah, it's a great industry to be in. It is very creative at times, but it is also very much admin heavy, as I'm sure we could all agree.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, great. And what about you, Amber?
I'm glad we started with Ben. It made me realise how different it can be per videographer.
Yeah.
So I run Mira Creative Studios. At the moment, it's just me. We've been going for about 1.5 years. And obviously, like Ben said, you wear many hats. But at the moment, I wear all the hats.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it can be kind of glamorous, but a lot of it is sat at home doing admin, doing editing, carrying heavy equipment around everywhere. Like I look like a year 7 with a big backpack going everywhere. I don't look like this all the time.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun. And being creative every day, I think I have moments where I sit back and I go, oh yeah, I should be really grateful for where I am. I might have a hard day, but look at what I get to do as my job.
Yeah, for sure. So if we take it back a little bit then, like we can talk about where you both sort of started. Ben, you started your company at just 17, right?
Yeah.
So maybe go a little bit before that. How did you actually get into video in the beginning?
At college, I did physics, maths, computer science and tech.
Right.
Absolutely nothing to do with cameras.
Yeah.
But Harry, my business partner, and I have been best friends since primary school. Birthdays are 4 hours apart, and it's all very much like a family affair. Like our families are really good friends. My sister's best friends with his sister and so on. So we always used to go on holidays together. And I think it was 2016, 2017, we started going on a sailing holiday. And at the time, GoPros was becoming a bit of a thing. So we got a GoPro and we took that and we started filming them. But at the time, it was Harry's sister that would edit the video.
Okay.
And then they'd all host this massive premiere. They get all the family round.
Oh, I love that.
And Emma got all the credit, Harry's sister. And Harry was always really envious of the fact that Emma was getting all the credit. So one year we went skiing. We just got a drone as well. So I had a GoPro, Harry had a GoPro, and we also had a drone. And Harry wanted to take the reins. So Harry goes, right, I'm creating the video this year. So we just spent the whole holiday filming, and then after put together a video, and then had the premiere with the family. And obviously Harry got the credit that year. And then, yeah, just towards the end of college, we'd obviously been filming those little bits, but just towards the end of college, Harry sat me down. I'm not sure what you were doing at 17, but it's not going for a coffee. It's sat on a park bench drinking a 2-litre bottle of Strongbow. But Harry said, do you want to go for a coffee? And I'm like, that's a bit odd, but yeah. So we went for a coffee and he sat me down. I still remember the coffee shop, the little corner table, still there to be fair. And he said, do you want to have a go at making a business out of this? And I'm like, at the time I wanted to be an engineer, get an apprenticeship in engineering. But I wasn't set on anything. And I just said, yeah, why not? And at the time, the second that I'd said to the college, I wanted to get an apprenticeship, they left me to it. They just said, right, whatever. So they never spoke to me about my career after that. So it was sort of like you were on your own, because my college was based on uni stats. It wasn't based on if you were going to get an apprenticeship.
Right.
So I just thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. And then we started a business.
Amazing. So in contrast, how did you get started in video?
So, I mean, I was always one of these children that would pick up my mother's digital camera and film bits and bobs and make stupid videos of, me and my sister magically cleaning the house kind of thing, doing all these effects on, what was it, iMovie or whatever it was. And growing up, I always battled this feeling of, do I go into kind of business or something that seemed traditionally smart, I guess? Or do I really lean into my creativity, which was my passion? And yeah, so at A-level, I studied media studies and I got a lot of praise there. And I think that kind of made me go, okay, maybe this could be my thing.
Okay.
But I also loved studying business, economics, and I just had, again, this battle of, what do I study at university? Do I go into business marketing, economics, or do I study film production? And I think it was right up to the cusp. And I ended up choosing film production. And I studied at university at Royal Holloway. And it was amazing. Did my 3 years there and specialised in cinematography. And I do think whilst that has helped my career, obviously you can learn a lot of these technical things online now. But really what I took from university were the connections, the boosting confidence, and then eventually freelanced straight out of uni for a little bit until lovely COVID came along and was like, And yeah, then I did my time at kind of a small production company until I just got to a point where I wanted to do my thing. And I kind of had this vision for what video production looked like for me, especially as a woman in the industry. And I just couldn't really find many women doing it in a certain way. And I just thought, I'm just going to try it. Yeah. And, I had the support around me to do that. So, started Mirror Creative Studios September 2023. And this kind of merged my love for business and video creativity into one.
Yeah, amazing.
And it just felt like the right choice. Yeah. And oh my God, it's been a hard year. But it's been the best. It's been so rewarding.
Yeah.
And so very different kind of journey.
Yeah, very different.
But I think what's quite interesting is both of you kind of mentioned you had that moment that was like, why not? Let's give it a go, which I think quite a lot of people get started that way. Like, I was a freelance photographer, studied photography in uni a little bit similarly to you, but I actually my original idea before I went to uni was to be an architect.
Really?
Yeah, and I just did photography as like my fun subject, but fell in love with it. And that, kind of like you, I just at the last minute was like, no, I'm going to go and do photography. And that's like set me off on this path now. So Yeah, it's interesting how, like, just a passion for something a bit more creative sparks like your whole
and it just creeps up on you as well,
and changes your whole like life trajectory. So I think that's really interesting. I love how you were so open to a change as well, and just gave it a go, and it's obviously paid off now.
Yeah, I think it was the perfect timing because I was in limbo. College has sort of cast me to one side and gone, whatever, you go sort yourself out.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really looked at apprenticeships at that point. It was I think it was the May, and we were finishing obviously in the June, July. So it was like the perfect time, which I don't know, because Harry was finishing college and was in the exact same boat, didn't know what he wanted to do.
Right.
So it just made sense, really.
Yeah. So Amber, you said probably the biggest thing you took from uni was actually the connections. So I'm interested in how you actually got started, you and Harry, without any specific connections. What was your plan at the beginning?
It wasn't one. It was pure naivety. We literally sat there at that coffee shop and we were like, right, we're starting a business. And then we sat there, we're like, right, now what? Harry's dad at the time had been, I think, speaking to the Prince's Trust, and they had a young entrepreneurs program.
Yes, yeah.
He said, you need to get in touch with them, go speak to them. So we ended up going on that program, and we learned more in those 4 or 5 days than we did in the whole of college. Harry had actually done a business BTEC in college, and he said, I learned nothing there in comparison. So they taught you more about the sides of business that nobody ever tells you, the financial side, the cash flows. And then from there, our first ever video was a wedding in Marbella, and that came from the ski video. The couple saw the video. It was a friend of a friend, and they said, oh, we want a wedding video, but we don't want it to be cheesy, traditional. Well, they come film it. Me and Harry were like, how did you film a wedding? At the time, we didn't even have audio. So the week before, my dad goes, do you have microphones to record the speeches? And I go, no, do we need them? And he said, I think they'll probably want those speeches recorded. So we were really thrown in at the deep end there. And then after that, we got another referral for another wedding from somebody that attended. And then just started with local businesses, local coffee shops, barber shops, wedding venues. And then through one of the barber shops we worked with in Manchester, he told us to go speak to this person. And this person owned an agency. He still does, in Manchester. And we sent him an Instagram DM. I think he had like 800,000 followers. So we're like, he's never going to reply. Anyway, 2 days later, he replied saying, we'd love to get you in. We'd offered him a free video. And then that was the moment that sort of the trajectory of our past changed, because it put us in rooms that we'd never been in before. Even like a first class train. We'd never been on a first class train.
Right.
And then we're going on first class train down to London. And I remember being on that train and thinking, wow, this is like how the other half live.
Brilliant.
But then that sort of set us up getting in with the agency, because that put us in the world that we're in today.
Yeah.
Where were you posting your stuff at this time to get
it was just Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, there was no strategy. I looked back I did a LinkedIn post on that first DM I sent to that guy as well. It's Scott Thomas. It's appalling. Absolutely appalling. It's the most cheesiest, cliche message I think I've ever seen. But at the time it worked. And so, yeah, it was a good moment, that getting a reply.
And you said you offered a free video.
Mm-hmm.
And did that then end up to paid work?
We were getting paid by that company before we did the free video, because they were that desperate for videographers.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
like, we'd scheduled in that free video. It was a trip down to London, like filming a day in the life of video. But before that date came, they'd already asked us to do other
something
shoots.
else.
So
Brilliant.
It paid off before we even did the free video, which was amazing, because then we're like, right, we know, like, this has been worthwhile.
Yeah. But I think that's probably a little bit of luck that they needed stuff so sort of desperately.
Yeah.
But that never would have come about if you hadn't have just messaged them on Instagram.
No.
So I'm interested to know, Amber, how you used your connections to spin that into work.
I think when I first kicked off everything, obviously I was posting anything and everything on LinkedIn. I look back at some of them like, oh, God, rough.
So you kind of were a bit of ahead of the game with the personal branding on LinkedIn and everything. Because I feel like everyone is kind of doing it now. or starting to do it at least.
Yeah.
So when was this that you started posting?
It was around September, maybe later, 2023.
Okay.
And it was just to kind of get the word out there about what I was doing.
Yeah.
And from that, obviously, people that you've connected with over the years see you. Even now, people from perhaps university will come in. They now work in marketing at a big company or something. And they're like, we need a videographer. And, you know, I want to work with blah, 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 blah. I've seen you on LinkedIn. Obviously, we kind of know each other and they can vouch for me. So that's kind of how it seems to go at the moment. You've got people in all different corners of the world over the last years. And now they're kind of coming in when they can see what you can do.
It's actually quite interesting, I think, the power of LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
Have you got a lot of work through LinkedIn? Both of you, actually, because you both are quite regulars on LinkedIn. I think actually we've all connected through LinkedIn.
I think we are all on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
I would say LinkedIn has been a huge help, I think, especially for getting into perhaps new industries I've been wanting to kind of tick off my list. Some of them have been a real surprise where people will find you and say, oh, this person showed me your LinkedIn profile. I want to work with you. And you go, what? That's amazing. But otherwise, it does tend for me to come from networking. I find that Instagram is a great place to showcase my work. It's almost like a portfolio.
Yeah.
But in terms of getting work, it's not been as instrumental as LinkedIn for me, but it's definitely on the rise. I'm kind of posting more and more now. I've got the time and the brain power to think about it.
It's a whole nother job in itself.
It is a whole other job, and it is definitely changing slightly. So there's, I know I should put a little bit more effort in there, and I think we can change some things. But yeah, LinkedIn has been amazing.
Yeah. What about for you, Ben?
Instagram.
More than LinkedIn?
More than LinkedIn.
Interesting.
And I think that does come down to how much we posted. We haven't been posting a lot recently, to be fair, but how much we posted on Instagram versus LinkedIn. I mean, neither of them are that good for search.
No,
you can't go on.
not at all.
You can't go on Instagram and search, I need a videographer in London.
No.
And you get a lovely list of them all. But I think the way that Instagram displays your work, like you said, is a lot easier to consume, where it's more like thought leadership and that kind of content on LinkedIn that really works.
I think in terms of getting your style across, Instagram is amazing.
Yeah.
You click on your profile and someone can instantly recognize
100%.
perhaps what a video would be like for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. Whereas LinkedIn is more the technical, maybe a bit more personality in it.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more personality because you can talk about your work and you just talk about it a little bit more, whereas Instagram is kind of just more of a visual portfolio, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So no, that's interesting that you both have, got work from different platforms, but then still
I could see mine being Instagram in the future. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just don't have the time.
No, that's completely fair.
Combining them both as well is the best thing.
Yeah.
Like, they both work hand in hand. People consume content differently on both platforms, and some people only use Instagram and some people only use LinkedIn. Like, I think that the big thing on LinkedIn is who you're speaking to.
Yeah.
You know who's watching. Whereas on Instagram, you'll get somebody following you and it's their cat account.
Yeah.
But they might be the blooming marketing director at Dior for all you know. But you'll never know because it's a lot easier to hide, I think, on Instagram. And I think there's a lot more people sitting on the sidelines looking, and then all of a sudden they come out of the woodwork and you're like, oh, you've been following me for 6 years or whatever.
Absolutely. You might post that one thing and it's that conversion point for them.
Absolutely.
And you just never know when that's going to happen.
Mm.
So we've talked a lot about how you're using like social media for people to connect with you and kind of reach out with you. But do you use it to connect with others and reach out to others? I know you obviously did with that first Instagram DM, but do you still use those methods now?
I would say I don't do much outreach. I used to in the beginning, and my boyfriend works in sales, so he was like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I was like, it's not working. I was just really annoyed because none of this was working. No one was replying to my emails. Hello, I'm a videographer. So I just focused my energy on posting valuable content. And from then it's just been organic all the way.
What would you say is valuable content?
Different to every audience. So I'm kind of, I'm kind of niching more into luxury industries at the moment. So I might spin my content to maybe talk to people in that regard, perhaps people in marketing positions in those kind of companies. I might just think, okay, what would they want to know from me? But then you've got the whole other flip side, which you might want to talk to other videographers and other creatives. So there's a few different angles. But in terms of getting work, you're probably going to want to think about, okay, who do I want to talk to? Who do I want to see my content and to resonate with it? So yeah, that's what I think about.
Okay, great. And what about you, Ben? How do you do much outreach now?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's based on time. So when I've got time and my to-do list isn't too long, I'll set aside some time to do outreach. And it's such a tricky one because there's a group of people who are like, you need to be building relationships. But if you message somebody on LinkedIn trying to build a relationship, they'll just be like, you've got an ulterior motive. You're trying to get something else out of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's such a balancing act between actually just wanting to be connected for connected sake and going, actually, the only reason I'm messaging you is because I'd love to work with you. So, and it's different for everyone. And I think it's such like a tricky one because you message somebody and you can pretty quickly realize what kind of thing they'll react to and respond to. But relationship building is the biggest, it's been the biggest thing for us. And I think it's harder to do on LinkedIn because more often than not, you're messaging someone for a reason.
Mm.
But then at the same time, you do want to build a relationship with them.
Mm.
Yeah.
It is tricky.
It is tricky. And I totally agree with what you just said. I feel like when people just randomly reach out to me on LinkedIn, like, oh, hey, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
Great to be connected or something.
Yeah.
I'm instantly like, what do you want? Or like just at least suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
I might still have the conversation, you know, but I'll be a bit suspicious, like, what are you after?
Yeah.
But then I kind of find if someone's posting on LinkedIn and you just like their work, it's quite nice to just drop them a message to be like, really love what you're posting, like keep going type of thing, you know?
I always notice who's liking my work like more often.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, you're my friend now.
And then will you go and speak to them?
It depends perhaps what they do, but if they were to reach out to me though, then I probably would be a bit more like willing to talk to them.
Yes.
Rather than be like, what do you want from me?
So you think if someone is already interacting with your content, then if they reach out to you,
I think
they get a bit of a better reception?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's probably just a little mental thing that happens.
Sure.
But you've kind of recognised their face. You've maybe checked out their profile.
Yeah.
You might notice their posts a little bit more. So if they were to reach out, then I just feel a little bit more connected with them. Yeah.
Sure. Have you had any work through LinkedIn that you could like share that started with a DM?
So I'm sure they won't mind me talking about it, but so Get, the taxi app, I think it was marketing manager, found me on LinkedIn, loved my work, and then that trickled down to the marketing manager reaching out via email and being like, this guy saw your LinkedIn, passed them on to me, and he loved your work, so let's see if we can work together.
Amazing.
And I was like, oh my God, amazing. And they have been a fabulous client. And, you know, that wouldn't have happened if that one person didn't click on my profile, and I don't think we even connected till down the line. And it was probably just from one post. I don't even know what it was. I should ask, really. And then, I mean, from that, I actually found out that we had kind of a connection, myself and the marketing manager. So that just cemented the relationship even further. So yeah, LinkedIn has this invisible power that you won't even see until just that one email comes in.
100%. I think it's interesting. I actually had it was actually a message on Instagram, but it was from a founder of a company, and it was because I'd just been liking their posts.
Yeah.
And they, like you said, had just noticed that I'd been liking and commenting on stuff. They'd found me on Instagram and just messaged me and was like, we want to work with you. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely got a power to connect you with the right types of people. And I think as well, when you are on there, there's somewhat of an ulterior motive because everyone's trying to connect for work. But I think if you're just genuine about it and you're connecting with people that you're genuinely interested in, their work, their posts and all that you're interested in as well, then that, you know, if you're authentic about it, that kind of goes a long way too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Authenticity wins. And I think you can build these connections outside of just talking to someone. It's the stories you post on Instagram. You know, what are you talking about? What are you posting on there?
Mm-hmm.
At first I didn't really like posting too much about myself or my life. I've kind of wanted to keep them separate.
Yeah.
But people want to know.
They really do.
And it makes them feel more connected to you and perhaps willing to reach out because they feel like you're their friend.
And I think on that as well, it gets to the point with videos where the differentiating factor is somebody's vibe sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're not showing you, it can be like, well, they need something just to like edge them over.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you're just posting your work all the time, it's quite difficult to really get across completely who you are and what you're about. Sure.
And I think people hire other people, obviously based on skill, but somewhat based on, do they like you as a person and do they want to actually work with you as a person? So it's always good to show yourself. I think it's just one of those things, getting over like the fear of you being on camera. I don't love it. Getting used to it.
You can do it in so many ways, though, can't you?
Yeah.
Even if you're just filming a BTS video and it's just like complete fly on the wall style
100%.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was speaking to a photographer about this the other day, and he goes, the thing that people forget is when you go on these shoots, for us, it's every day of the week. It's a pretty common thing, but for a marketing director in a company, they do it 4 times a year. It's their school trip. Mm-hmm. Like they want the Nando's for lunch. Like that is, it gets them excited. So if you're showing up to the shoot and you're in a mard because it's the 4th shoot of the week and you're a bit tired, they'll remember that. And it doesn't matter how good your work is. It's as much about how you are on the shoot and how you show up. Then, because there's a lot of people that could replace us. There's a lot of people that can do video, but at the end of the day, it's a lot of the time on the shoot, it comes down to the part.
Yeah, definitely. So go on then, let's talk about a day on set of a shoot. It'd be interesting to hear from both your points of view, like how this works, because obviously you're part of a duo as well, and you're flying solo. So maybe we start with you, Ben. Take us through maybe a recent shoot that you've done that you could share, just a day in the life of a video shoot.
Yeah, I think clients come to us for a few different reasons. They'll either come to us for literally just video. They've got a creative brief and they're like, look, we just want you to execute it.
Right.
And then sometimes they will come to us and be like, can you help us with the creative? And then sometimes they literally just want us to shoot the content and then they're going to edit it after the fact. So typically it's end to end. We're given a brief and show up on the day. And I mean, it's literally just following the brief and making sure we capture everything that's needed. But I think there is a massive thing. I'm not sure about you, but when you get to these shoots and you've got the brief and you're like, oh, this is quite a vague brief. There's not a lot going on here. It does end up sometimes, not as much nowadays, but definitely in the early days where you are 100% leading the shoot. And it is the creative direction's you, the directing's you, everything is literally down to you. So yeah, it varies massively. I love the shoots that everybody's got a clear role and the direction, everyone's on board, same direction. And again, the vibes are there.
Yeah.
Because it is so much like everybody just responds to energy. Like the models on the shoot, if you're in a mard,
totally,
the models are going to be in a mard. And if the people from the company are in a mard, it just like, you've just got to make sure everybody's in a good mood.
Yeah.
Everybody's on the same wavelength.
Definitely. So how far in advance of the actual shoot day do you tend to get the brief?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it can be the day before.
Okay, so that doesn't really give you much time to prepare.
No,
yeah.
Sometimes we get asked to do the shoot the day before.
Okay.
Obviously, it depends on the shoot. Some of the bigger shoots we do, like the TV ads, we get quite a lot more notice, and there's obviously quite a lot more to lose there, so that they tend to be on it with the brief. But yeah, it tends to be a couple of weeks probably before. Okay.
Maybe let's talk about one that is a shorter timescale. So you've been given the brief, you haven't had much time to prepare. How do you turn up to that set? What equipment are you taking? How do you know what you need to capture on the day if it's all a bit vague as well? And then how do you just tackle that day?
We will literally bring everything.
Okay.
And it is that is like, there's been so many times that we have been saved by the fact we bought 2 HDMI cables.
Yeah, fair.
One's broke. Or
Yeah.
So like over preparing and just like planning for every eventuality, we always do that in those situations. As well, we do look, especially when one of the bigger productions, we look for the areas that aren't necessarily our strongest. Lighting, for example, has always been one of those areas that we have been, I mean, we shot a lot outside, so we've never really had to pick up lighting until recently. So we'll always look for areas that we can bring a professional in, like a lighting gaffer or anybody in, to sort of fill our blind spots. And I think that has been a massive thing for us, and it just makes the content better. And you're investing in your piece of work at the end of the day. And even if that means putting your ego and your profit to one side and going, you know what, this isn't my strong suit, I'm going to bring someone in that can do a better job than me. It makes us look better. It makes the lighting gaffer look better, and it makes the client look better. So yeah.
And then what tends to be your role on set, and what's Harry's role on set?
Very similar, to be fair, on set. So we both shoot.
Cool. So you have like a camera each shooting at the same time?
Typically, but we also have a full director's monitor setup. Yeah. So it does come into like directing as well. And obviously reviewing the footage live. But yeah, typically it'll be both of us shooting, which means we can get twice as much content as well. And if the shoot allows us to shoot both at the same time, it just that the amount of content you can capture and then the amount of videos you can deliver as a result of that just increases dramatically.
Yeah. So in contrast, Amber, as a one-man band, just jumping in quickly to thank the sponsor of this season, Capture One, the tool trusted by professionals around the world and the one I've relied on since day one. Whether I'm producing a shoot, working on edits or reviewing on set, it's always Capture One that I'm opening first. If you want to give it a go, and you should, you can get 30% off for the first year of the all-in-one subscription with code Morgan30. It's valid until the 1st of June 2026. Full details and the link are in the show notes. Now, back to the episode. In a similar kind of shoot, not much time to prepare, what does that look like for you?
I mean, I will try and have as much contact with the client as possible, you know, and iron out all these details.
Yeah.
You know what questions you need to ask to get the right answers. And you can kind of get a feel for what's going to be expected of you on the day, if you're going to kind of be thrown in the deep end, or if someone's actually going to kind of take care of you and plan everything out. An amazing shoot on Monday and she just planned everything. I said to her, I was like, I don't get this very often. Like, thank you so much. It's amazing.
And that was the client as well?
And that was the client.
Brilliant.
Planning everything, timing everything. And yeah, that can be a rarity.
Yeah.
But in terms of a last minute shoot, yeah, I'll try and find out as much as possible. But it really, I think, depends what kind of shoot it is. You could be a bit more BTS.
Yeah.
You could be a bit more, like you say, directing. So it does kind of depend on the situation. But then, like you say, Ben, you kind of just bring everything. Like sometimes I'm like, I'll take something out my bag and I'll look at it and I'll go, no, it's just got to come with me.
Something you'll never need as well.
Literally. And it's always the tiny thing. I think I had that on Saturday where I just left this tiny thing out and I was like, so annoyed at myself. It didn't ruin anything, but it was just like, I could have really done that.
Yeah, it could have been handy.
So yeah, I'm quite a serial overthinker. So I will plan and plan and plan as to the best of my ability. Depending on the scope, I might do a shot list. But if it's a really quick shoot, it tends to be a little bit more, you have to respond to things rather than lay them out for you.
Yeah. Well, I know one of your main clients is Joe Loves.
Yeah.
Do you think you could talk us through maybe one of their shoots, how that generally works?
Yeah. I mean, I shoot a lot of events for them, so that feels a little bit more responsive. I'll try and be a little bit more lightweight with my kit. That tends to be me just bringing like a rucksack and turning up and just getting the best content I can. I filmed a camera piece with Joe Malone a few weeks ago, and that was more, again, still responding to the events that are unfolding, but you need to turn up and know that you can get the cameras in the right position. You can capture everything that's going to be happening. You can light it in a way that's going to match their branding. It's going to be great for the purpose. When you're working with people like Jo, she is just a powerhouse in herself. So you don't even really need to think about the directing or how things are going to lay out in front of you, because they are just so incredible at doing this that you can just focus on the camera, the lights, the audio, and just like be in awe of who's speaking in front of you.
Yeah, amazing. In terms of equipment, do you guys own a lot of your own equipment, or do you rent in a lot for different shoots? Or is it just shoot dependent?
Shoot dependent.
Yeah.
If I'm on like a larger set and they're working with a company already that they're hiring in kit for, perhaps the photographer is, then you can hop on that.
Can add a couple bits. Yeah.
Yeah, usually add some like larger lights that I just cannot carry or afford.
Yeah, fair.
Aperture, I'm talking to you. So yeah, that's tend to how I operate. But I do try to buy what I can, but I do opt for travel friendly options, especially
100%.
being on my own.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting to a point now where I think I need to start thinking about having someone in to help me with these kind of things. But if it is a larger shoot and I know I'm taking a lot of equipment, I do tend to put in budget for an assistant.
Sure. Okay.
Which does help.
Yeah, definitely. What about you?
Our old office at Harry's house is like a graveyard of equipment that we've built over the years and like built up over the years and never use. And I think we got to a point a couple of years ago that we realized like gear doesn't necessarily matter to some extent. When you get to a level, especially like nowadays with what you can do with a Sony camera, like 4K is 4K. If your camera can record in 4K 10-bit, nobody's going to notice the difference, whether it is a FX6 or a FX3 when it's crushed down and put on social media. So I think we realized that we got to a level, we're happy with our equipment, and then if we need anything else, we will hire it in. So that typically is like the odd lens or lighting mainly. But what we also realized with the lighting is a lot of the lighting gaffers with their own kit, it is actually just as affordable to bring them with the kit than it is to hire the lighting separately.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So,
and then you get an extra pair of hands.
Yeah.
Which, like you
win-win.
said, one of your weaker areas maybe is lighting, so you get a hand with that as well. So win-win. Yeah,
definitely. I think especially in circumstances where you're in a location where there's so many variables, just having it like we've lit interviews and we light campaigns all the time, and especially when we're shooting abroad, we do a lot of our own lighting. But if you're in a place you've never been before and you don't know what the lighting's going to be like, just having somebody to think about that means that you can focus on what you're best at, which is obviously capturing the content.
Yeah, definitely. I think, shoots just run a lot more smoothly when everyone has their own specific role, doesn't it? You've had quite a few high-profile clients as well. Could you talk us through maybe one of those shoots? Because that's a bit of a different scale. They probably have a producer on set as well as the client. Yeah. And just a larger team altogether. So how does that run generally for you?
I think they're my favourite because they run so much more smoothly.
Yeah.
Like when we shot the Maybe campaign last year, it was just like we had the shot list. We knew exactly what we needed to capture. We bought a lighting gaffer and everybody had the role. And it makes things run so much smoother, and it also frees up so much brain capacity to actually be creative on the shoot. Like if you're thinking of the positioning of a light, or you're trying to move kit around like you're saying, and it's just like you actually need to be there to be creative and to capture the content. So having a bigger team, it is great in some circumstances. There's been other situations where we always say there's too many cooks in the kitchen and nothing happens, and you waste so much time, and you see what budget's been spent, you see how many people are there. Like we've had 30, 40 people on a shoot and nobody's doing anything because there's too many people, but then there's not those key people that are actually there to organize it.
Right, okay.
Because I think sometimes brands can just throw people at the problem, but they're not necessarily the right people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a balancing act, and it can be done very well and it can also be done not so well.
Sure. And for both of you, do you tend to have your clients reviewing the footage on the shoot, like, I don't know, after every shot or at certain points throughout the shoot? Is that just like a general, that's what happens?
Again, depends on the client and the situation. And especially if you've worked together before, they tend to kind of know who you are.
They
and
start to trust you a little bit more.
Yeah, they do, yeah. And, you know, sometimes I offer for people to see stuff and they go, no, it's fine, I trust you. And you go, oh, thanks.
Yeah, great.
And it's lovely.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, very dependent.
Is it the same for you as well?
Yeah, I think Molly's a good example, to be fair, because we worked with Molly since 2019. So she trusts that we know what she's going to like and not. She still does love to see what we're capturing as we're capturing it, especially when it's her own brand, obviously. Because that's
of course.
her baby. But it has got to the point now where, like, with that used to shooting her, we know what her best side is. We know what she's going to like, to the point where after the fact, Harry will just send her a list of all the shots that he thinks she'll like, and then they'll have some fine tuning. So it's quite hands-on with Molly, especially with her own brands, which is brilliant because you feel involved in the whole process. But at the same time, she does put a lot of trust in us and knows how we shoot her. It's been 6 years now. Whereas some brands will literally not even look. But it's nice when they feel like you feel like they're trusting you and they're happy that you can get what they want.
Yeah. Do you get much creative freedom in the edit then as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. And I think a lot of the shoots, like, that potentially haven't been that well organised or we haven't captured that much stuff, it's saved in the edit, as I'm sure you're the same. So having that creative freedom is great, and it allows to do things that the brand also hasn't thought of.
Yeah.
Or doesn't even know, like, I don't mean possible, but yeah, it allows you to explore areas. Same with music. Like, we did a shoot recently. Harry ended up using like a James Bond style track to it. And I saw it and I was like, the brand would never have picked that. But Harry picked it and then said, what do you think to this? To the brand, and the brand were like, I love it. And
Amazing.
It's a completely different vibe to what they normally go for. But having that creative freedom, we've worked with the brand for years. So again, they trust us to be able to do that. But having that creative freedom for Harry to be able to go, I'm going to try something a bit different. And it suited the vibe. Whereas if we'd put an upbeat, fast hip hop track or whatever to it, it just wouldn't have worked the same.
Right. Is it the same for you?
Yeah. I think some people that aren't in video or perhaps haven't worked with many videographers or video editors don't really know how to either communicate what they want, or they will communicate something to you and the only way you can show them is by doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll come back and go, oh my God, that's even better than what I wanted and what I told you to do.
Yeah.
And there's no other feeling like when you do something not risky, but perhaps where you're like, okay, I've maybe done something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And you send it off to the client and you're there like waiting. Are they going to like it? Or are they not? And oftentimes they're like, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
Because you have done something slightly different.
Awesome. So you mentioned Molly May a couple of times. I think the story of how you got her as a client is quite interesting, if you don't mind sharing.
No, so that was through Scott as well at the agency. So Scott Thomas still owns the agency, Social PR. So right place, right time, we got in with Social PR, and it was just as Molly was coming out of the villa. So on that free video shoot was actually the first time that we met her. And then we were sort of embedded into Social PR at that point. We were doing so many videos with them. I think at one point we did 20 videos in a month just for them. Because at the time we were just like, we'll do whatever the budget, let's do it.
Sure.
So when Molly came out, she signed with Social PR, and they instantly started working on Filter, the fake tan brand.
Yeah.
And then we were asked if we would shoot the campaign, which again was a massive thing for us because that was in Barbados. So we flew to Barbados, shot the campaign with her, and then that was the first proper project I think we did with Molly. And then from there, she liked the way we shot her. We had a good relationship with her, and we then started getting put in touch with all the brands that she worked with for the brand deals and the collaborations, which again just opens up a whole new door because you're getting recommended by somebody like her, which carries quite a lot of leverage, which was brilliant. And it just enabled us to solidify the relationship with Molly and obviously continue shooting her, continue figuring out what she liked, what she didn't like. And then we just built a relationship up with her from there, which has been nice because we've sort of been along for her journey.
Yeah, it's lovely.
From working with the brands like PLT, Beauty Works, and those brands in the initial stages, all the way to now working on our own brand. So yeah, it's been great. It's been a nice process to be a part of.
How do you find keeping things secret? Because obviously maybe there was so much hype about the launch of that, but no one exactly knew what it was until it came out. So
Yeah.
how do you like handle the NDAs and stuff like that?
I mean, there's always NDAs in place, but at the same time, everybody always tells us, they say, we can tell you boys anything because we know you're never going to spill it. It's part of the process, and it's part of working with those kind of people. You're exposed to things that a lot of people want to know. Same with like the baby announcement video. Like we were probably one of the first people to know she was pregnant. And we didn't even tell our girlfriends. Our girlfriends never knew until video came out. I think Harry found it a bit harder because he was actually editing it while his girlfriend was in the flat. So I think she probably found out a couple of weeks before, but to that degree. And we told Molly, and Molly was like, come on, like you didn't have to do that
not to that extent.
To your girlfriend. But yeah, it's part of the process. And I think it's part of working with those kind of people. And if they can see that's how you are, then they'll respect that. And
definitely, it builds a lot more trust, and
100%.
will get you more work in the future, really. So let's talk about the creative process. So obviously there's the pre-production part, which has all the concepting, then actually being on the set or on the shoot, wherever it is, capturing the footage, and then the edit afterwards. What's your favourite part of the whole process?
I mean, I love the dopamine hit of when that like first email comes in from a client where you're like
100%.
Oh my God. So I love that. Obviously doing the shoots is just great fun. But everything is so different. And I really do love the edit actually. And I've come to love it more and more over time because what you shoot might end up looking so different to the final product.
Sure.
And it's just a real chance to hone in on your creativity, and like I just, sit in my dark room and just really lean into it like a little gremlin. I mean, I love aspects about every part of it. Yeah. But if you have a bad day, have a bad day. But I don't think I'd do the job if there was any part of it I didn't like. And I love the marketing side of it as well. I love the business side of it.
It's a lot of hats to wear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favourite part, Ben?
I think it's dependent on the project.
Okay.
So when a project comes in, and again, like you say, when that email hits, it's the best feeling, especially if it's a brand that you really want to work with for a long time, and you haven't even had to inquire with them or whatever. It happened with us in Gymshark, and I remember getting an email from Gymshark and thinking, like, we didn't even message them. Like, how have they seen us? And then you start thinking, wait, how did they even find it?
Yeah. You start backtracking everything, don't you?
Yeah. I think it depends on the shoot, the concept, and the people, because I also get the inquiries and I'm a bit like, oh. Not because I don't like working with the client, but it's getting inspired behind a creative idea or a brief or whatever. But I do think, obviously, I do the business side of things. So Harry is in the edit. We always say that I get the work in and Harry keeps it. But Harry absolutely loves the edit. But again, it's dependent on the project.
Sure, yeah.
If there's 10 talking head videos to edit and you've got to cut out all the ums and the ahs out of it, I'm sure that'll be absolutely draining for him. But if it's something where he's been given the creative freedom and he knows that he can get really creative, like that edit with the James Bond soundtrack. I know that that's the thing that really gets him excited. But then at the same time, the shoots, it's such fun on the shoots, especially the ones where you're spending a couple of days with the same people, because you can really like develop the relationships with them and you can have fun, and it's like the moments in between the moments. It's not necessarily just about the shooting. It's about
of course.
It's
the
dinners
day, isn't
with
it?
them. Yeah. So it's completely dependent. I like all of it. I do like all of it.
You just mentioned that you're like the one that brings the work in, and you've mentioned a bit about your marketing as well. Have you got a strategy that you're using at the moment to get work in, or just to market Alpus?
Yeah, it varies depending on how busy we are. I'm sure you're probably the same. The output can be huge if we haven't got anything else on.
Sure, yeah.
But the second that things come in, it's the last thing on your list, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
That LinkedIn post or whatever. And I think I am a big overthinker when it comes to making content. And Harry and I have said this time and time again, we put so many barriers in the way to making content. We've been trying to film a vlog for the past 2 years. We started filming it, but then the camera's too big and then the microphone's not quite right.
Right.
And we are suckers for putting things in the way that stop us from doing things. However, when we do get into the flow of things like making the vlogs and posting on LinkedIn and Instagram, that is typically how we market ourselves. But it's like a omnidirectional approach. There's no real clear strategy, but we've seen that being present on Instagram and LinkedIn, I think really helps, because people will find us on LinkedIn, but then they'll come across a post that somebody shared from us on Instagram, and then they're coming from all areas. And then if they need that little push, they might go and watch one of our vlogs. We actually had a client a couple of years ago. It was Megan Grubb, the fitness influencer.
Yeah.
And I remember when we went on the shoot with her, she said, I watched one of your vlogs to see how you were as people. And that made me realize that is a really key area of, as we were saying before, the vibe of like a marketing strategy. Like, people want to be able to see whether you're good at your job, what you like as people, and how you'll show up.
Yeah.
So I think it's not got any strategy behind it, but we know what we should be doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what about you? Because I know that you've really lent into like TikTok and Instagram and like showing a bit more behind the scenes of you as a videographer, creator.
So I think at the moment it's quite simple as I want to post on LinkedIn twice a week at least. Yeah. And then I want to be posting on Instagram maybe every other day at the moment. Kind of going well. And then TikTok is a bit more reactive, ad hoc. You know, if I see a trend, I'll hop on it. But Instagram, I don't really hop on the trends as much. It's more about how I want my feed to look, because I'm so aware that as soon as someone clicks on my profile, what it looks like could be make or break.
Sure.
So yeah, TikTok is a little bit more relaxed, personal, not as big on there. Instagram is definitely, I've become very focused on kind of what the feed looks like. I'm going through a rebrand at the moment, so I'm just trying to be very conscious about what I'm setting myself up for.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to create myself a pattern that I can stick to, and it's really helping. Creating that kind of feed plan, I didn't think would be my thing. I kind of just wanted to be able to post what I wanted to post, but it's really helped me just have a schedule. Being such a visual person, if one post doesn't look good next to the other one, I'm just going to delete it.
Sure.
And there's just no point. Like, you have to be posting content.
Yeah.
So having some kind of plan in place and setting those boundaries for yourself is really helpful.
Yeah.
And even though it felt kind of limiting at the start, it's actually allowed me to post so much more. Yeah. Probably posted more in the last 2 weeks than I had in the last 3 months. Yeah. Like, it's crazy just by making those small decisions and changes. And I would really recommend having like branding set out for yourself rather than worrying about, oh, where am I going to put that piece of text? Or like, what's that going to look like?
Yeah. It's so much easier if you've got a formula.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that just changes the whole game.
Totally.
In terms of speeding up the process, knowing you're going to like what it looks like, and just being able to post more content. And then, LinkedIn is very much, I just want to post a few times a week. Perhaps I'll upload a few. I use Buffer and I'll just post or create ideas, and I might just upload a photo from my week, or I'll go through my camera roll and I'll upload certain things, and then when I feel like I've got a spare half an hour, I'll like pick one of those things I've uploaded and created a draft of and write a post of what maybe it's something I've thought about that week, or something that's really affected me that week, or perhaps I'll do something a bit targeted, like I said earlier, to my audience.
Sorry, what is Buffer?
So it's a scheduling platform.
Got you.
But it's great because you could create drafts. I don't want to go in and just create a solid post and schedule it straight away.
Yeah. So you have like a big drafts folder, and then you choose what you want to post.
Yeah, and that's great because sometimes I might have an idea and then I'm like, okay, I'll click in my drafts folder. What have I got in there that matches the idea? And away you go. And then I can just schedule something.
Oh, nice.
And you can do it for all platforms as well, can't you?
Yeah, you can have TikTok on there, Instagram. But yeah, I use it mostly for LinkedIn.
Cool. Do you use Buffer as well, or something similar?
No, but we have done in the past. The content we put on, well, I put on LinkedIn. Harry's hardly on LinkedIn. He's too busy in his editing.
Yeah.
But is pretty different to the content that we put on Outpass. So there's not really a carryover because it's like personal brand on LinkedIn versus obviously more portfolio style stuff on Instagram. But yeah, it's a great platform though. I've played around with it loads. And
I feel like you, Amber, have really developed a style that's quite recognisable. Like when I'm scrolling through TikTok anyway and one of your videos comes up, I kind of know it's yours before I even see your name. What's your advice for someone trying to figure out what their style is?
Ooh, good question. This is a journey I've been on for the last, I think it took me about a solid year to really figure out what my style was. I think I was trying to be someone else at the start and I was really looking at, I'd really taken LinkedIn seriously. I was looking at what everyone else was doing and I was like, well, I obviously need to do that. Like I kind of had a basis of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to play on my femininity and the things I like and the industries I like, but I was trying to blend what everyone else was doing into that when reality is I'm quite different.
Sure.
And when I realised that, when I actually took a step back and thought about who I am and blended that into my branding and my style, that's just when everything clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about you, Ben? How did you and Harry find your sort of style?
I think in terms of the actual video, the style is more down to the editing. Because I think anybody can shoot, like you could shoot the same thing 100 times and it might not look entirely different, but the editing is where I think the real style is created. So from the video perspective, I think it's definitely in the edit. And I mean, shooting style to some degree, especially with shooting handheld versus on a gimbal.
Sure.
Style on LinkedIn, I think, like you say, just being yourself. I think people don't write like they speak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's very easy to fall into this. What does ChatGPT think I should say?
Yeah.
And I'll just write that when actually it's not you. So I think it's just being you and trying to get across your perspective. You could be writing about the same thing. You could be speaking about the same thing, but it's like, what's your unique input about the topic you're talking about? And how can you, get your style across in that?
Yeah, no, fair. So, like we've already discussed, there's like so many different hats that you wear. What would you say are things that you have to do that maybe aspiring videographers or just people that are interested wouldn't expect you guys to really be having to do?
It's not having to do, but it's something we did and I was like, that is something that I know not a lot of people do.
Sure, go on.
Go through your followers, go through the people that like your posts, and message them all. Our biggest client last year came from an Instagram DM that I sent because she liked one of our posts.
Amazing.
And she looked like a competitor on the front of it. Turns out that she wasn't, but I could have quite easily gone, no, I'm going to keep myself to myself. And I put that to one side and thought, I'm intrigued by what these people that consume our content do and who they are and what they like, because they're liking the post, as you said before, they're liking the post for a reason.
So what kind of thing did you say to them when you reached out?
Just realised we've never spoke before. And that was, I wasn't trying to do it. It was, especially on Instagram, you don't know what they do. It was actually just trying to find out what they do. So I wasn't trying to hide the fact that I wanted to see whether they're actually like somebody that we could have a relationship with or there's potential work there. But I literally sent them a DM saying, hey, realise we never spoke before. Been following each other for a while, because these are also people that we've been following and we'd never spoken to. And yeah, that resulted in one of our biggest clients last year.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that's a really good piece of advice that
so easy.
A lot of people probably don't do.
No, because they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
not following and liking and commenting on your stuff for to do its sake. They're there to keep an eye on you or learn from you or go find out why they're following you.
What about you, Amber? Anything?
Something I didn't really expect was how hard it would be to switch off and just, leave it in another room.
Yeah, especially running your own business. Yeah. That's super tricky.
Took me a long time.
Yeah.
To work out where my boundaries were and what they were. Mm-hmm. I mean, something that really helped me is I now try not to look at my phone after 9 o'clock, because otherwise I'm perhaps on the business Instagram.
Yeah.
And I'm checking things, checking messages, checking LinkedIn, and it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
And then you perhaps don't sleep very well.
Yeah, and that'll affect your work the next day.
Yeah. So definitely try to do some inner work.
Yeah.
About kind of where your boundaries are.
Yeah.
What makes you happy outside of work. When you run the show yourself, you feel so attached to every aspect, If something were to go wrong, obviously it's all on you. And you will do everything in your power to make sure that this ship sails smoothly. That's the right word.
There's always something to be doing as well, isn't there?
Always something.
Always be work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that as well. Like we said when we first met. What's been the steepest learning curve for each of you about starting your own business? Maybe Ben, I'll go to you first.
Ooh. I think you could go to film school. You can, like you did, you went down the route of cinematography with university, but nobody teaches you how to deal with clients.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was in a fortunate position where I'd worked in a restaurant for 7 years before and during the early days of Owlpass. And that taught me how to speak to customers. And then you don't realize actually how that transfers. But when they're throwing a problem at you and when they're spending money with you rather than obviously the coffee shop, the restaurant, it's different. And you can do your absolute best with a client and it still might not be enough. And that's just the nature of their business or the pressure from whoever they're speaking to. So yeah, I think that's probably been the hardest thing. And it's a ever evolving battle, but just learning to communicate. And
I think that's the main thing, communication.
Absolutely. And it's recognizing everyone's communication style is very different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Some people's emails might come across as very blunt, but they're not. They're just very to the point. They just want to know what they want to know.
Yeah.
And it's not anything against you.
No, definitely not.
Nothing wrong with a full stop.
No. Explanation mark.
Yeah, taking things less personally.
Yeah,
in
100%.
that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about you, Amber?
Ooh, learning curves. I feel like I've been preparing for this my whole life, to have a business. I just knew I'd really enjoy it, but managing everything myself has been a huge learning curve. And the learning curve I'm on at the moment is, at what point do I need help? At what point do I need someone to come and do this for me? At what point do I need to think about perhaps hiring someone part-time or full-time? And that is where I'm at the moment. And I think, you ask people for advice, and I think it's just, you just have to do it. You just have to trial it and see what
try
works
it out
for you.
and see how it goes. Yeah.
So excited for that.
Nobody's gone down the same route that you have. So nobody knows actually what the right advice is for you at any given moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Definitely. What's next for you both? What have you got coming up that you can tell us?
What do I have coming up? I'm in a bit of a weird phase where I've kind of caught up on a lot of things. So I'm taking this time to really take a step back. Like I said, I'm going through a rebrand, so I'm excited about the next phase. I feel like this is really becoming more of my initial vision. I feel like I'm really executing it and I'm really happy with where things are going. Got some amazing shoots lined up kind of before summer, and I've got some nice holidays.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Needed.
It's important to take holidays as well.
It's important to take holidays. And I'm not going to take my laptop.
Stunning. Even better.
Yeah. So good balance of work and
play.
chill time.
Yeah. Brilliant. What about you, Ben?
Owlpass, we've got a few campaigns in the works. It's always so last minute, as I'm sure it is with you. So it's you'll have nothing for next week, and then all of a sudden Friday comes around and there's 4 shoots next week.
How do you plan?
You've got to be so flexible.
Yeah.
Like, it can be literally like 9 o'clock the night before. Can you be in London tomorrow morning at 9? It's like, right, yeah. So to some degree, you can't.
Okay.
Harry's cancelled quite a few holidays because it's never me. It never seems to be me cancelling holidays, which I do.
Do you
feel
just not
bad
have
about.
holidays planned?
I don't think I go on as many as Harry, but it's just never really ironed out that way. But yeah, it's a tricky one to organise. But you've just got to do it, because you can go, no, I need balance. I need to have a day off or whatever, but then it could be a huge opportunity that puts you in a room with people that you'd never have been in with otherwise. So it's thinking about the long term, and it might be a missed weekend away or whatever, but if you can incorporate that into the price and be honest with them, saying, look, I'm cancelling my holiday for this, and then rearrange it, more often than not, it is worthwhile to some degree. Not always. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And also it kind of evens out, doesn't it? Like, you might have a really horrible back-to-back week, and then you'll have an empty 2 weeks or something. So it does even out.
Yeah.
But yeah, carry on. What have you got coming up?
And then Circle, which I think is
yes.
So Circle, we talked a lot about finding creatives. Like, you can't search on Instagram, you can't search very well on LinkedIn for videographers in Manchester, videographers in London. And when you do search that kind of thing, especially on LinkedIn, it's so hard to actually find somebody's portfolio. Like, I was looking for a videographer the other day, and I was like, videographers in Manchester. And then each person I had to click 4 or 5 times just to get to their website to then see their work. And then you get to the website and the website's down. And you're just like, right, you might be the best videographer in the world, but the whole setup of
it's too
social
hard
media,
to connect you.
So the idea with Circle is taking a web portfolio, like most creatives have, and plugging it into the network. So combining your standard website portfolio with LinkedIn, so your work lives alongside everyone who made it happen.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So typically on a shoot, it's all about camaraderie. It's all about like coming together around one common goal. But the second the shoot's finished, it just sort of like fizzles out. And it tends to be us that are posting the final result, not the makeup artist, the hairstylist, the fashion stylist. And what we found is it creates this massive disconnect, which then makes it really hard to find creatives, and again, for creatives to get found. So Circle will be a platform where you can upload a piece of work, but then also tag everybody that was in it in a way that then that exists on their portfolio. And then you're then linked to them. And then there'll be trusted circles. So good name, actually.
Yeah, I love that.
Where we will have our recommended list based on people we've worked with. So it is plugging people's portfolios into the network to pretty much make the whole way that referrals work digital. Because referrals, I don't know about you, but referrals is how we get most of our work.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And having a way to streamline that, I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. So how will it work? Is it like a free platform to sign up to, or is there like a subscription sort of fee, or?
Yeah. So at the minute, the platform is the second phase. But when the platform does come, it will be free for everybody, because we don't want it to be limited based on who you know. There's a couple of platforms out there already, but they're curated.
Sure.
And that's just down to personal preference. What one person might think is an amazing piece of art is somebody else might not think is that good. So we don't believe you should limit people by one person's at a computer's like view on somebody's work. So it will be very similar to how Instagram works. Everyone can create a profile, but then it will be like the explore page will be curated. That will be your curated element.
Okay.
And is it kind of curated to each individual user's taste, like Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
I think the best comparison is Pinterest linked with LinkedIn.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Brilliant.
But the big thing, especially with the advancements of AI recently, we've already built it. It's ready, but anybody can build it. Like, it's technology that you can stick into ChatGPT and it can spit out a pretty good version. So we realized that we need to give people a reason to join. And that reason over anything is community and a place for freelancers, because it can be lonely for freelancers. And I think a lot of people, obviously I'm grateful to have Harry and we can riff on ideas with one another, but for a lot of people, they don't have a second person. So we're really going to hone in on the community aspect, probably with some events, some online communities, that kind of thing, to give people a reason to be on the platform rather than just a soulless, empty platform.
But I think that's brilliant. I do love an event where people actually come together in real life.
Yes.
Yeah. It's nice to actually meet people in real life, make an impression as well. I'm one of those people, I feel like I'm much better in real life than online. And probably there's a lot of people the same. So you're going to make better connections and relationships in real life.
Definitely.
So it's so helpful for people, for sure.
And I think for creatives as well, networking in traditional business events, creatives are like, ooh, I don't want to get in a, because it's got this stigma around like traditional networking events. So we want to create an event that, like, we started with, what event would we want to go to? What event would we rock up to and be like, this is sick? So that's going to be, everything is based around what will creatives actually want to go to.
That would be cool. Can't wait for that.
Right.
And can you get work through that platform as well?
Absolutely.
So, like, is there sort of a chat integrated so that clients can actually reach out to you in there?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a job board. We don't want to make it like a recruitment site because, again, we've got to sort of create this place that creatives want to be. And we are definitely not going to make it like Fiverr or Upwork, because you could quite easily fall into that, especially if you discuss pricing on the platform, because then it's commoditized. And like Harry and I have pulled ourselves away from like time-based commoditized pricing, because it's just the race to zero. So we want to help people do that as well. So I think everything we do on the platform will be for the creatives and for the freelancers.
Yeah, amazing.
Nothing will be profit first. That's the second thing. It'll always be, is it going to help creatives? Is it going to help freelancers? And then work back from there.
Yeah, awesome. That sounds really good. That. Yeah. People can sign up now, can't they?
Yes.
And when are you planning for it to actually be released?
We're going to focus on the community aspect first. We want to build up this community and this reason for people to join, because the platform without creatives on is nothing. We really want to focus on building something that is people want to be a part of first. So there is no immediate launch date for that reason. However, the events probably will be starting in May.
Amazing.
May, June.
Awesome.
And where will they be?
Wherever there's enough creatives.
Ooh.
I think Manchester and London to start with, and then potentially branch out. We have even talked about doing some abroad as well.
Yeah, I think that's useful. There's a lot of creatives moving to places like Dubai now.
Dubai was a big one.
Yeah. So that'll go down a storm.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait for the invite.
Yeah.
Both will be getting on.
Formal invitation, please.
Wax stamp.
Okay, so before we finish up, we've got the listener round.
Okay.
So I've got some questions from my listeners. First one is equipment. What are your like go-to pieces of equipment? So let's maybe go with camera, mic, lens or lenses, and lighting.
I think we probably use both similar.
I think we are very similar.
Go on.
Like we said earlier, I'm on the Sony A7S Mark III. Just a very reliable camera. I mean, I've used these for years now. I'd definitely like to perhaps change it up in the future, but completely recommend Sony's. I love the interface on Sony's. I find it so easy to navigate. My favourite lens is, I love a macro lens. I just, I get so many compliments on my shots from that kind of footage, and it just seems to always trickle back to, I was using that lens.
Yeah.
So highly recommend one of those. Love the DJI mics at the moment. I just have found them really reliable. I've heard some horror stories about them from some people, but I've had a really great experience.
Okay.
Really clean, easy to use, portable. Love that they come in a portable charging case. So good.
Yeah.
It's a hard lens to shoot with, especially if you're going handheld, but we love the 85mm size. It's just such a nice lens for beauty. And just, that was one of the lenses that we constantly use with Molly, and Molly's always like, whatever that lens is amazing. Same camera as Amber. The dual SD card slots in those Sonys are a lifesaver. And I know a lot of the Sonys have them now, but you don't realize you need it until it happens.
Yes, of course.
And then when you know you've got a second backup, it is the best feeling. Because it's like you can do whatever. You can change SD cards every week, but something's still going to happen at some point. And then the recent one, which was a big piece of kit that we got actually probably early last year, was the DJI transmission kit, which for Harry and I is brilliant because you can actually have 2 transmitters and 1 receiver. So you can have 2 live feeds going to the same monitor, and you can just flick between two feeds. So when we're on a shoot, we can hand that to the client, and it can literally be this small, or you can then plug it into an external monitor and have it big, and then they can just flick between different cameras.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
I think the mileage on it, the range on it, is something like, it's miles. Like absolutely, I mean, we literally use it from about 10 meters away, but that's a really, really nice bit of kit, and it's also a really nice screen as well. Amazing. And you can put your LUT on it as well, so you can see the final result. Yeah.
Awesome. And then actually softwares, what do you use for editing?
Primarily Premiere Pro at the moment, colour grading on DaVinci. I know a lot of people are kind of editing and colour grading in DaVinci at the moment. Trying to experiment with that myself, see if I could maybe make the switch, because DaVinci is just such a great piece of software. So well designed, and obviously how intricate you can get with the colours. It's just amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Harry's on Final Cut still.
Oh,
interesting.
Which it stemmed from, it was like one of the only things he'd heard of in the early days, and then he's become so like proficient in it, it's like hard to pull him away.
Yeah.
We went down the DaVinci route last year, and it's amazing, but then it got to the point where you're doing all of these nodes to do the color grading, and it's going to get crushed for Instagram, and at that point it's marginal gains, and it's like you might spend 2 hours editing something in DaVinci, or stick a basic color grade, normal color grade that Harry would do in Final Cut, and you can't exactly tell the difference.
Yeah.
So I think it is purely dependent on the type of project.
I would agree. Yeah. Not every project I import into DaVinci.
Yeah.
Like you say, sometimes you can do something in Premiere myself.
Sure.
And like you say, it's just going to go on Instagram. Yeah. And especially if it's something where they want loads of effects on it and transitions and stuff, you're like, it's going to be on the screen for 0.5 seconds. So yeah, very dependent.
Okay. For someone starting out, do they need to be in like a creative capital like London or Manchester?
I never have been. It's always been accessible to me. And I'd say most of my work, I do come into London. So if you're not in a city, then having it accessible to you is definitely going to help. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important. We were very lucky to be like half an hour train ride from Manchester. It's just where things happen.
Yeah.
City centres, it's where the brands are, it's where the companies are.
Sure. Question from me, but based on this. Obviously that's where the brands are and everything, but do a lot of your shoots actually happen outside of those areas? Because you mentioned one earlier, you went to Barbados.
Yeah.
So I guess if someone is a little bit more remote, they could still potentially make those connections through the internet, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything like that, and then travel to the locations. What's your kind of take on that? What do you think?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm at the moment, I'm on the coast. It's about an hour for me into Central. And obviously you do work with some local clients, but they're a whole different caliber to when you come into the city.
Sure.
So definitely not impossible, but you want to have the work behind you to back you up.
Yeah.
To be able to go abroad. You know, if someone's going to fly you somewhere, you need to be able to deliver. And a lot of the experience you're going to get is going to be in a city, I think.
Yeah, makes sense. What's something that you both thought was really important when you were first starting out, but it turns out it doesn't actually matter that much?
In a vague sense, equipment.
Okay.
I thought I was going to need so much more and spend so much more money. I kind of did my initial bulk buy of kit when I started, and obviously spent so much money. And to be honest, I haven't had to add that much more.
Okay.
Like, it's really carried me for a long time. And then until I've had the money to make an investment on something that's I've had my eye on for a while and it's been on my wish list for a while, or is going to make my life either easier, you know, less frustrating, save me time, then I'll invest.
Yeah.
And I do try to make sure every purchase is an investment and I know exactly why I'm buying it. I'm not just going to buy a piece of kit for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say the same or?
Yeah, equipment's a massive one, and there's such like two sides to the argument. I had a post on LinkedIn about this, and somebody was saying they'd shot a film using a 10, 15-year-old camera, and it's tricky. And I guess the creative aspect is so important, and I don't think you should ever use equipment instead of creativity. Like they don't, like you need them both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as we were saying before, it gets to a point, especially with Sony's, like we started shooting, and for the first 2-3 years, we shot on the A6500 and the A6300, the crop sensors. They're like pretty basic level cameras, and we made it work. And that then got us in with the people that we got in, and we were still using those cameras. So equipment, I think, is needed to some degree. But once you hit this happy medium of 4K 10-bit, you can crop into portrait from landscape and still retain decent quality. I think it is massively diminishing returns.
And then this one's more like business sort of based, but how do you know when a client is a right fit for you?
The vibe. I think the vibe is everything. I think the vibe and the concept. On that initial call, we can normally get a really good idea of what kind of person they are, what kind of brand they are, whether what we value is in line with what they value, and how much they know about video, how much experience they've got with video. And sometimes initially they might not be the best fit because they've never shot video before. They don't really know what they're doing, but then you've just sort of got to hold the hand and guide them down the video road. So yeah, it's tricky. And I think to start with, you don't always know. I think probably until the shoot day, you probably don't know. And then you get into post, and then they reveal another set of true colours, and you're like, oh, right, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an ever-evolving process. I think it does change the more you work with them.
Yeah. What about you, Amber?
Yeah, definitely. Again, this word vibe. You just kind of get it. But don't judge someone based on their emails, because they might be so different when you have that meeting. And try to have a call with everyone, because you will understand so much more. And then, yeah, like Ben said, when you get to the shoot, that's when it all kind of either clicks or doesn't. But even if it doesn't, it's our job to make it work.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe you've got to bring the vibes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Amazing. Thank you both for coming on.
Not a problem.
I think it's been such a good episode, and it's actually really interesting. I knew there would be differences in your stories, but it's been interesting how many differences there are, but then also similarities as well.
You get to the same destination.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is different ways to the same destination, isn't it?
Exactly. So yeah, thanks guys.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.